It's that time again. The annual conference of the American Society of Ag Consultants, otherwise known as ASAC, is going to be held in Fort Myers, Florida, this November 4th and 5th. Kurt Covington is one of 9 professionals who will address the conference. The other speakers who will cover a wide range of topics represent Florida Farm Bureau, Florida Citrus Commission, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, National Ag Law Center, Risk Mitigators and Advisors, Tyler Associates, as well as the lead economist for dairy at CoBank, and myself, Chrissy Wozniak from North American Ag. The day and a half of presentations will be followed by ag tours on Tuesday afternoon at Echo Farms, one of my favorite places here in Fort Myers. Attendees will experience farming at its most creative, with unique demonstrations, plants, and techniques being used to help farmers and urban gardeners in developing countries. A second tour at Echo will showcase simple technologies that can improve food, water, and shelter for millions of people. A third tour of a hydroponic grower is also being planned. For more information and to register, visit www.agconsultants.org. That's www.agconsultants.org. See you there. Today's Ag Spotlight episode is sponsored by Energrow. Energrow's oilseed pressing system helps farmers crush their feed costs. The easy way to make fresh, homegrown, high-quality meal plus expeller pressed oil right on the farm. The fully automated Turnkey Crush Pro is easy to set up and run 24/7. To learn more, go to energrow.ca. Hi, and welcome to North American Ag Spotlight. I'm Chrissy Wozniak. And I'm so excited to talk to our guest today. He's working with leading edge technology, dreaming up unbelievable ideas and turning them into reality. He's invented a zero-emission, fully autonomous tractor. From Palo Alto, California, I would like to welcome the CEO of Ztractor, Bakur Kvezereli. Welcome, Bakur. How are you today?
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So you're an ex-diesel and hydraulics technician. So how did you make this decision to become an inventor and entrepreneur? What's your background?
I was working for different companies in the agriculture sector, from growing the crops in the field to, the processing and the food trading, and knowing about the tractors, the traditional tractors, and the challenges that technologies are facing, or limitations that diesel and hydraulic and other technologies used on a tractor are having. We were just trying to find the solution for one of the farmers in the US who can start electrification of their machinery or reducing their carbon emissions by implementing electric vehicles or electric machinery. And that's how it all started. And then we decided to build a small prototype, then a little bit bigger, and then to the tractor size, which is we have small size compact tractor, but at the same time, it's already electric and autonomous, and it can do every task you can imagine with the category 0 and category 1 implements.
Wow, that's incredible. And so what was the point where, when you were working in your previous career, where you just were like, okay, now is the time. This is when I need to do this?
So my previous startup was connecting US growers, the specialty crop growers, with the wholesale buyers overseas, and mostly in Europe, Eastern Europe. And we saw the shift from the retailers requesting or asking if there is any chance to get the products from the farms which have the CO2 reduction plan on a farm level implemented, or they are in the process of implementing it. They've seen the retailers, the groceries, basically seen this as an opportunity to pay premium for the products or farmers who are doing this. And that's how we were thinking, what is the cheapest way to achieve that in the farm, and what's the first steps the farmer can do in the farm to start reducing the emissions. And I think machinery is one of the fastest, probably also like most affordable way to do this, but it's definitely the fastest step in terms of getting the plan on a farm level, let's say 5-year plan on reducing emissions, right?
Right. Yeah. So what crops is this used for?
When we were talking, that was about the dry beans like pinto and red kidney beans, and but then we saw that for vegetables, which we had no experience on working with, like trading them, but then we talked with the farmers, we saw that there is even bigger need for vegetable growers.
Right. Cool. And so why are autonomous tractors so important today?
Of course, the autonomous tractors are not that. Sometimes they are considered as the kind of that there is no operator, there is no human operator needed for that. It's not like that. There is the switch in terms of like how many tractors and how many acreage one operator can do, right? And with this all labor force shortage in agriculture, that's in some cases it's just enabler to continue farming the specific crop in a specific region with today's requirements for a crop or the standard, or maybe some practice which is organic farming practice or no-tilling practice or some other practices where you need different approach from the machinery perspective. And I believe that in many cases, this automation in general will save the type of farms we are farming today from changing the crop or reducing the size of farm because of the labor force shortage or some aspects related to that.
Right. Yeah. So you've got 3 different models, the Bearcub, Mars, and SuperPilot. So what's the difference between those models?
The main difference is the size, but there are some like functions and features which we are trying to add to Mars, which is not available at the moment. We are still working on it to make it fit the needs where we want it to go in terms of the crops and the size of farms, while Bearcub is more for the small farmers or medium-sized farmers, and with the vegetables, berries, and the crops mostly, like which we have tried so far is like vegetables, berries, and grapes, right? Mm-hmm. And there are some orchards which we did with the young trees, like orchard nurseries, but also the young trees like before 4 or 5 years, where we had some great success. And I think that Mars model will be more for the bigger farmers in grains. Like that's the first model, which will start with a relatively small fields of the grains, but already in the grains. And the SuperPilot is probably mostly for grain growers.
Wow. And so talking on the autonomous side, how does Ztractor know where to go?
You have the tablet as an operator in your hand, and you tell Ztractor where you want it to operate as a boundaries. You set up the boundaries, and then you choose the pattern, which pattern you want it to follow, and then it follows that pattern. If it sees any obstacle, as the safety is our priority, it just stops and gets the operator to resolve the connect and see what are the obstacles and resolve the issue. If
that is remarkable.
Obstacle, the pet or the wild animal is crossing in the field, then you need the operator's involvement.
Right. That's so cool. So are you seeing, or what are you seeing as the efficiency difference between tractors with drivers versus driverless? Are you getting better efficiency without the driver?
There are like pros and cons on that. That's not all positive. Obviously, there is a big advantage in the gaps and overlaps in planting or any other tasks, because you can have better map of your a better map and plan where you want to, for example, put the seeds and measure the distance between seeds, which is done by implement, but also with interaction with the power unit, which is tractor in our case. And for example, in the tasks where you need like precision or land leveling, like laser land leveling, that's where you need to have calculation and the previous data. That's where I think the autonomous is much better and showing better results. There are tasks like putting, for example, drip irrigation pipe, where so far, at least from our experience, the driver-based tractors, like traditional tractors with a traditional implement, are doing the better job. But we are working on this as well, and it's possible to get to the required standards on that task as well. I think the speed overall, that the driverless has a better speed.
Right.
First, no brakes, obviously, and it can work longer hours, but also the per acre time per acre spent on doing the task. When we are talking about like soil preparation, crop management, or weed management tasks where we have where we master and work, right? We don't go beyond that with our tractors. We are not in harvesting or anything.
Right.
After you basically grow the crop.
Oh, that's cool. And so, what kind of horsepower are you offering?
So horsepower, it's a great question. So we try not to compare it with horsepower and go like horsepower to horsepower, because I mean, for electric, it's a wrong metric, definitely. And what we are promising in the powers, from a power perspective, it works with the implements of the category 1, category 2, different width, and it's equivalent to probably between 20 25 kilowatts depending on configuration and like trim, but that's how we measure it, by kilowatts. We go by kilowatts. Of course, you can convert it in horsepower and see what horsepower is equivalent to this, but we try not to market it as a horsepower power unit.
Right. And I understand that there's no hydraulics. And why is that?
No hydraulics, because hydraulics are basically not that efficient like the electric, like in using the battery power. First reason. But there is a second reason, which is hydraulics still require the oil, and the pipe can break and leak. So we try not to use any of the oil products on our tractor.
Wow. And with it being electric, how long does it take to charge, and how does the charging work?
The charging is the regular car charger, as I think they call the most common name for this charger is a level 2 charger,
Okay.
which is the vehicle charger, and it can be charged from 3 to 4 hours and work from 8 to 12 hours, depending on the soil and the implement. So that's with the one pack. You have the option to double size your pack and increase the size of the pack on your tractor if you custom build it on our website. And in this case, you can extend its work up like by another 5 hours, probably get to 17 hours.
Oh, that's cool. And what about PTO and 3-point hitch? Are they compatible?
Yeah, they are coming with the PTO. PTO is optional. You can add or you can have it or not, depending what are your tasks and what you want to work with. But it doesn't come with the base model, but you can add PTO as an option. And 3-point hitch comes with the base model, and that's already there.
Great. And so what do you think is the biggest benefit to farmers here?
I think saving time and cost optimization on production cost optimization. And of course, in some cases where they are direct suppliers to the groceries, and depending which grocery, of course, but if you are direct supplier to the grocery stores or chain, then potentially premium on your growth for zero emission farming.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. And what about pricing? What are the price ranges?
So the average price, because you have an option to add different type of track belt or other features and accessories. So average price for the Bearcub model is $42,000. And if you want to add some soil sampler and some more like lab features to it, including the data processing and gathering the computer vision or other features, you can add these features like feature by feature. And then there are also like other products which are software to improve its performance, or it's very narrow niche for specific crop, specific task. Then you can add also these features depending on what's the interest. But I think the $42,000 are a good estimate for an average price for the Bearcub model. And we don't have prices for the next two models so far, as they're not available for the sales at the moment. They're still on the concept level.
Oh, great. And then so when are you projecting that they'd be available?
For pre-orders, the Mars will be available this year, but we will deliver first unit to the customers of our second model next year, spring of next year, while the first model will be delivered to customers this year.
Oh, great. Awesome. And then how do you want people to get a hold of you if they have more questions? Where can they go?
Our website, or like there's an info@Ztractor email on our website and the phone number. So the best way to reach out is that or the social media.
Great. And that's ztractor.com, right?
Yes, ztractor.com.
Awesome. So one more question for you. What fires you up? What makes you get out of bed in the morning?
Great question. We think that this is the must happen kind of transition from the diesel and driver tractor to driverless electric. And the faster we make it, the better we will be ready for the challenges we are facing in agriculture, like to produce more food with less chemicals, less water on a smaller land, with like unexpectable or very unpredictable weather conditions. We need better planning, which means we need more data, and this is the perfect solution for that.
Oh, that's awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today. And thanks to everybody who's watching. If you want to learn more, the links will all be below in the show notes. So have a great day.
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good day.
The way we conduct business in agriculture has endured a drastic change. Our handshake industry has traditionally been face-to-face, but with the cancellation of in-person events and farm shows, everyone has had to adapt, from farms to manufacturers to service providers. With a dizzying array of marketing and digital business choices, you need to make the right decisions or risk not being seen at all. If you need advice or a customized plan for your business, don't hesitate to reach out to me at chrissywozniak.com or chrissy.info, because that's easier to spell. Don't risk not pivoting your business. Find a path that will take you into the digital space and be seen by our industry.